I think it is always raining in this country. That is unfortunate.
They do appear to be rather unhappy.
About
Although
what?
that
They should be used to the rain if they live
it
here.
may not be weather related.
Well, what then?
I don't know. Why don't you ask them?
That would probably be a bad idea. No?
Perhaps.
So, we are looking for a school? Or do we wish to find an inn, or what are we doing? You have been awfully quiet, whatever it is you wish us to call you today.
Oh, shit.
That is not a name I have heard you use before.
The coach rolls up into the center of the town of Wisemarch. It is not a particularly large town. The skies are grey. The ground is dirt with the odd stone, but it doesn't look like it has fully recovered from the Great War. The people are sullen, quiet, and a little untrusting.
I don't know. I like the rain.
Perhaps you should move to Eisen, then.
I do find it a little bit uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? Pourquoi?
Yes, and Fenric, pulls at some of his clothing and lets it go, and it snaps back to his skin, wet. I think we should find a place to set up base.
Catalina says C. C to what? I give two options and you say C.
See, I
To
think we
which?
should search for the school.
Well, then you both have different ideas. So,
Rooms. I doubt if all the rooms in the inn would be taken up by tourists.
no, I think there would probably be rooms available. However, if we can find what we came for quickly enough, perhaps we shall not need one. So, let us go find a school.
Catalina will jump out with her bags.
Marguerite will also leave the coach.
Huh. I did not
And Fenric will follow.
You exit the coach, and the trunk on the back of the coach cracks an inch open, and an eye peers out at you before throwing open. And then Alana climbs out of the trunk on the back of the coach, and she closes it, takes her
What?
hat, shakes it out, puts it on her head.
What are you doing in there?
Traveling.
You can travel inside the coach, no?
I don't think
Okay.
we were going to turn you away for this mission if you wanted to come.
But Catalina said it was too dangerous, so I traveled incognito.
I suppose no one will know that you were traveling.
I'm sure everyone will know that she is traveling.
Yes, they did. I was prepared. I left them, and she holds up an envelope. A letter. And she looks at it.
Does not appear as though you left it for them.
She slides over to Fenric and sort of pushes the envelope into his jerkin and slides back. Did you deliver the envelope that I gave you, Fenric?
How she wait?
And she does an exaggerated face palm and goes, "Oh, he doesn't speak Vodachi. Of course he didn't understand to give the letter to the captain. Oh, what a
Wait, I am sure
fool
the
of a man he is."
problem. Fenric, she is claiming you are supposed to deliver this letter she has just given you.
Ah. Who am I to deliver it to?
No, where? Where supposed to? In the past.
Where am I
Where?
supposed to deliver it to?
No. Ah. She is saying you were supposed to deliver it in the past to the ship. You cannot
The ship
deliver it
can't
now.
read.
Oh my goodness.
And now Marguerite.
She doesn't know what's being said, but she can see Marguerite's frustration, and she just looks at you and goes, "You see what it is I have to deal with? You understand, Soto?"
Oui, je comprends. Fenric, she forgot to deliver this letter, saying she was coming along with us, and she is now trying to place the blame on you to say that you forgot.
How dare you, young miss? And Fenric will pull out the letter.
And shoot her, according to Hannah.
What?
And Marguerite will turn to Catalina and say, we had better send a message to the captain, letting him know what we have learned.
See. And she looks where Alana was hiding. Did she spend the whole 2 weeks in the confines of this little compartment?
Je ne sais pas.
Actually, we probably don't need to tell the captain. I'm sure he's figured it out by now. It's probably a little bit too late.
It is not too late to inform him that we know where she is, considering the possibilities are not merely that she ran away with us, but that she was captured by the people who were looking for her before. I am sure he would wish to know.
Alright, well, I've got a letter. Do you want to send it?
We will have to send a message by bird.
And Fenric will hand you the letter.
She will shake her head and take it and put it in her pocket.
No takebacks. It's on you now.
That is an issue for later. I suppose we should still try and find the school.
To the school then.
Alana, please do not hide in any more compartments, no? Unless it is actually necessary, then of course you may hide in a compartment if you need.
And she nods.
Wonderful. Alright, I guess we're looking for a school.
And as you're walking away, you can see the coachman at the front sort of looks at you, and then he looks at his hand and starts going,
They multiplied.
counting off fingers and looking a little confused, and then shakes his head. And you find the school. It appears to be a one-story dwelling with a front and back door that you can see. It's not huge. It's not like a full-on school. It's probably one large room.
And does school seem to be in session?
Hard to tell. You don't see any kids or anything, but it doesn't have any excessive sort of doom and gloom feel over it. The drapes are closed, the windows are closed, the front door is closed. It doesn't look particularly secured or massively locked. I mean, whether it's locked or not, you can't tell, but it doesn't have any big boards or anything covering it.
Catalina will walk up to the first front doors and open them.
And they open.
Alright. Marguerite will follow, wondering what it is exactly we're going to say if we find the person we're looking for, because we haven't worked that out. Adam, which was the closest door?
Makes sense to be the bottom one.
And so it is.
You see about 8 desks, little ones, a blackboard, another desk off to the side, and the 2 doors. You see there is about 14 kids, and they are all standing over on the left-hand side near the wall there, so not at their desks. You can see there are 6 looking ruffians with their swords drawn, holding the kids under guard. And over next to the other door is a woman in simple attire that has a little bit of a resemblance to the painting that you saw in the other location in Eisen. And a better dressed individual who has a dagger at her throat.
It appears we have walked into a bit of a situation.
What is the meaning of this, holding children
This-
hostage?
Wait,
Does not concern you. You may
how do you
go.
know?
We were just looking for the bathroom. Come on, guys, let's
No,
go.
you may have been. I am not leaving while they hold blades to people's throats and such.
When it comes to the harming and scaring of children, of course it concerns me.
Oui? You say it does not concern us, but perhaps we can be of some assistance. What is your goal here? Perhaps we can find a way for you to stop threatening people, no?
She has something we need. She gives it to us, and we'll go on our way. No one has to get hurt.
And what is that?
It's a ring.
Oh, this fuss over a ring?
Very specific ring.
More's the pity. We could have given you a ring.
How about you let the children go and take us instead? They have nothing to do with this.
No, but you look dangerous, and they're not. And they're good hostages, and you're not.
That is not the case. If you arm the children, then you will make the townspeople very, very angry. And it
I
will
have
be
no
much harder
intention
for
of
you to get
arming the
away.
children.
I think she meant harm. Yeah, she has trouble speaking sometimes.
Marguerite glares at Fenric. My apologies, Fenric. I apologize that I cannot speak very well in many languages, and you can speak poorly in just one.
I can speak decently well in Avalonian. What do you think? Fennec looks at the villains. How is my speaking in Avalonian? He takes
They're
a step forward.
They're like, we're in Eisen and we don't know what you're saying.
And I'm going to spend my first danger point.
Okay.
Yikes. Catalina in the background goes, oh, I better remember what things I can do before we fight. Alright, you've spent a danger point. Are you telling us for what or no?
The somewhat unusual approach has caused a minor distraction. Enough for the young teacher, who looks 18, 19, 20, that sort of age. And she elbows the thug in the side and she goes out the back door. And he turns and gives chase. The kids scream and start running around crazily in panic. They are between you and the 6 brutes that are in the room. It is approach time.
Wow.
And what's Alana doing, I guess?
She has whipped out her rapier and is ready to give combat.
Perfect. Alright, so either of you two could go first.
I'll let Fenric go first to sort
Okay.
out the room.
Yeah, so Fenric is going to say, "Hey, kids, over here!" And he's going to open the door that they just walked through. Come on, single file, out the door! And he's going to try and gather their attention and get them out the door, which I think they want to do anyway.
They do. Not particularly single file, more like a tidal wave of little fear.
A mob
Good
of
enough.
children.
Okay. As the ruffians head towards the children and Catalina, Catalina steps forward towards the ruffians, and one of them rushes forward. Catalina, with her front foot, drags out one of the chairs and kicks it at him, and he stumbles over the chair, getting caught up, and falls to the floor. And another one races in just past, and Catalina, he takes a swing with his long sword, and Catalina strikes it out of the way with her rapier, and using the hilt of her dagger, swings around, jumps onto the guy who's collapsed over the chair, and whacks the ruffian in the side of the head with the hilt of a dagger, knocking him out.
And she moves forward and she's trading a couple of parries and thrusts with a couple of the thugs. And then she steps onto one of the smaller chairs and up onto the desk. And one of them slices at her legs and she jumps off the desk and it misses. And she lands next to the chalkboard and flicks upwards the duster, which hits him in the face. And there's a cloud of chalk dust. And he puts his hand up and he starts to cough. And she kicks him hard in the side of the leg. And he crunches down onto the ground, moaning from pain in the side of his leg. And that's her 2 raises. There are
She
4
says, I'm not punching anymore. I've learned my lesson.
I learned how to kick.
I will now kick.
There's 4 remaining. And it is Marguerite.
And she, realizing that she thinks the other 3 can probably take on the 6 in here, has rushed out the door after the teacher and the one chasing her. So Marguerite bursts through the door, and there's a bit of a gap between her and the other two since they had a bit of a head start. So she is running as fast as she can to try and keep them in sight, even though the teacher is trying to get as many people between her and the man chasing her as possible. He's shoving people to the side. Marguerite's gonna hop over a couple low fences, rushing through some people's yards, sending chickens scattering and adding to the general chaos. And eventually, she's still a ways away when she sees the teacher heading up the stairs, but she will manage to hop over the people who've been shoved to the ground and make her way there as well.
Fenric.
Fenric is going to change tactics because I believe all of the children have left this area.
Correct.
Uh,
So it's a 2-to-1 cost now if it's different.
Yep, so he's going to pull out his pistol and shoot at the nearest enemy. So he fires the pistol and it slams into the shoulder of one of the guards who gets blown back and hits his head on the side of a desk. Is unconscious, at the very least.
With a critical wound.
Oh no. Catalina.
The guy that's bent over the chair, struggling to get back up, she jumps back onto him again and then up onto the one of the tables, and he finally manages to get up, picks up his sword, and she's waiting there for him, and he takes a wild swing at her, and she jumps up into the air as well. And as she lands, she uses a rapier and stabs one of the textbooks, and flicks it up into his face, and whacks his face with it, and he stumbles back with his textbook against his face. And she jumps down from the table, and using the same tactic, she spins around and whacks him in the side of the head with the hilted end of her dagger.
I'm liking all the creative uses of school supply.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used pens yet.
Oh, no.
And the remaining one attacks Alana with ferocity and forces her back. She's parrying and ducking, and she's attacking in turn, but he's parrying and forces her up against the wall, and then they interlock the blades, and she just looks up at him, and she smiles with confidence she really shouldn't have, but she's like, I have you just where I want you. But she has no razors to do anything with. That's the end of her.
She looks up to see a ruffian behind him coming at her, and as he takes a swipe, she drops the dagger, picks a pencil up off the desk, and scratches him on the side of the face, leaving a nice lead mark on the side of his face. And he looks around, and he looks up at her, and she holds up the pen, and she on guards. He looks at her again and bolts out the door.
And he dies a slow death of lead poisoning.
Of lead poisoning. It's so funny because it's true.
Oh. Oh no.
And Alana, still locked with the brute, yells after him, the pen is mightier than the sword!
He's like, what is this small...
He can't understand.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
She yells something in Bodache, and he's like, what? These people are weird. Why did they come into our hostage situation? Alright, I guess we're rolling for
It's a
new
new
approaches.
round.
These kids had parents.
And what's Alana up to?
So, Alana She knees the thug in the groin, and he grunts, and then she hops up and puts both of her feet against the wall and pushes with as much force as she can muster, because he's a big guy, and forces him to stagger back across the room, and then horizontally, as soon as she can no longer lean on him, she falls to the floor in a heap, and he is in the center of the room. She had 2 razors, but I think other people have more than that, so she can't take him out. But yeah, so she has pushed him away from her.
And as he's staggering back, he sort of stops in the room, and Catalina picks a ruler off one of the nearby desks and whacks him on his right ear. Reaches up and turns around, sort of shocked to see her, and you think it is okay to pick on children? Look at your friend, he runs away, even though I scratched him without but a pen. I now hold a ruler. Do you think you can beat me with a ruler? No. Do you
Here, you take the ruler. I'll keep my sword. Think you can beat me?
beat me, please? If you stay here much longer, I will have to teach you a lesson. And her eyes narrow as a wicked grin crosses her face, and she holds the ruler up in one hand and the pencil in the other hand.
And does he flee?
Runs off out the door.
And Alana gets up, and she's rubbing her knee because she was the one that took damage from last round. And she's like, "Gott in Himmel!"
And she's with no one who can understand her at all.
And Catalina shrugs. I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. Ah.
Marguerite,
Yes.
you go up the stairs. It's 2 stories.
Okay.
And you come out onto a landing, and it's about 15 feet wide. And you can see the thug, and he's standing off to the left with his blade out. And to the right is the teacher, and she's near the edge. And next to her is a woman with a big hat that is pulled down, and she has a long pistol that is a dark red oak, and the pistol is quite heavily pushed up under the teacher's jaw so that her head is pushed back. And she looks up a little and peers underneath the brim at Marguerite, who can see that it is Reese.
Figured. And Marguerite will stop because got a hostage. Pause and sort of try and figure out what to do. What are they doing?
Yes. And Reese is looking at you, and she says, "I knew you were not dead."
How did you know that?
Little rumors that have been coming up every now and again sounded a little like your interference.
What do you know of me?
I know you weren't who you say you were.
I thought that was common knowledge at this point.
I know that there are people looking for you, not just us. I know
And who
you are
else?
interfering in things that you should not have been, and it will cost people their lives.
And why is that?
Because you don't know when to leave well enough alone.
Perhaps you don't either. Uh, okay. I've got 3 raises. I've also got.
She says, I have what I came for. You will keep. For now. But not forever. She jumps back and her cape flares around her and she drops from view straight down as the teacher, with smoke drifting from the top of her head, slowly topples to the right and falls below to the street, where you hear some screaming. And the rival looks just a little bit shocked and a little bit indecisive.
Okay. Marguerite is going to capitalize upon his moment of indecision, and she would like to Okay. She's going to shove him against the wall and put her sword up against his throat. Marguerite, after a moment of being slightly shocked herself, although not as shocked as the ruffian, as she was sort of expecting something like that from Reese, shoves him against the wall, puts her sword up against his throat, and asks him rather tersely, "Were you working for her?"
And he looks just a little bit confused and panicked. Yes, but clearly you know more about her than I do.
You know nothing.
We were hired here.
You are useless. And she will swing her sword away from his throat, smack him in the head with the hilt, and he will crumple to the ground. And I assume at this point, Fenric can arrive.
Fenric gets to the top of the stairs, panting and out of breath. Are you okay?
I am frustrated.
Well, that's better than dead.
I am frustrated because someone else is dead.
The teacher?
Oui.
So, what are we gonna do now?
I do not know. She was killed by someone I have met before.
This guy?
No. He is nothing. He knows nothing. He is a waste of time.
I see. Do you know how she died?
Yes, I know how she died. I saw it happen.
So, what happened?
She was shot. And Marguerite will walk over to the edge of the landing and look down. Can she see the teacher from there?
You can see that at a street there's a couple of locals who are looking at her. A lot of them are fearful. They heard the gunshot. She is laying there, obviously not moving. There is some faint bluey grey smoke rising from her head and mouth. You can see that her ring finger is paler where a ring would have been.
She is below.
Fenric will walk over and peer over the side. I can't believe we failed.
It was not your failure, it was mine. You were not here.
Perhaps I should have been.
And what would you have done?
I don't know. If she was shot, maybe I could have shot the person shooting her before.
She had the gun to her jaw. If you had shot, she could have shot still. I did not know what to do.
Maybe she has some sort of clue on her person?
She had a ring, it is gone. That is what they wanted. I do not know if the townspeople will be happy if we go investigating her corpse.
Right.
The children, they are fine.
As far as I know, I got them out safely.
All of them.
All of them.
That is good. And Marguerite's gonna start heading back down the stairs.
Fenric will take one last look over the side and follow her.
And she will walk back to the schoolhouse, assuming that is where the other two will be.
We are waiting back at the school, and Catalina has 3 ruffians tied up at desks, and a third one, and a fourth one. She is removing a lead ball from his shoulder.
Marguerite will walk back into the schoolhouse looking rather defeated.
What is wrong with you? Did you get the girl?
No.
Catalina looks up. No?
She is dead.
How can this be?
It was these ruffians. They were working for someone who... Well, it seems even they were surprised by her cruelty. And she sort of glances at Alana like she thinks she's going to react to this. And then she says they were working for a woman named Reese.
And you notice how?
I saw her. I saw her kill the teacher. And then I very politely asked one of them if they were working for her. And he said yes.
And how do you know this Reese?
We have met. I have told you many times. It seems you always forget.
I always forget these things.
I don't think I know who this Reese person is.
I do not know if I wish to tell you the old story in front of these. And she gestures at the tied up men.
Perhaps getting an inn is not such a bad idea at this point.
No, before that, there must be something. We cannot have come here for nothing. And so they took the ring that she had, but maybe there is something here.
Catalina looks around the room.
I do not know, but I think there must be something. And Marguerite's gonna start searching the schoolhouse. Looking everywhere inside of desks, and she has thrown open every cupboard she can find and has been pulling things out and just leaving them in piles on the floor until suddenly she stops, and from one cupboard she pulls out a cane, which Fenric would not recognize, but Catalina and Alana might recognize as being the one we saw in the painting of Magda Muller. This is something? No?
That is the cane that was in the painting, no?
Oui. She's gonna start seeing if the cane does anything. Pull on the top of it, see if it's got a hidden compartment or a sword or something.
And there is a click, and the ivory grip and headpiece slides off, and within you can see there is rolled up pieces of paper.
There is a lot of. I think there are codes here, but there is a lot of talk of politics of different nations. It says religious zeal makes the throne of Avalon easy to manipulate. Their devotion to the throne of Castile is unquestioning. Control Castile and we control Avalon. Already sending armies to assist Perez at Barcino 170VX. There are a lot of these numbers and letters throughout. Rogue elements in the marches and Inismore have been dealt with. No one has seen the O entity for years. Marches nobles are easily bribed. Small rebel forces are not a factor in the grand design, but could be funded to present difficulties for local nobles, further removing the marches from the issue. P2. Sighting of the mask in it cuts off. It could be Castile. It simply says CA. That is the first page. The next one says, the Eisen experiment continues successfully. Increased incidence of abductions and horrors. The Countess has proven approachable. N2JQ. Montaigne armies are now driven by a suitable candidate. His desire for bloodshed will open more doors, making travel easier. 3B. Then Vodace still proving to be difficult. MP savvy to most recruitment techniques. Need to develop new procedures. 6. GV has progressed too far with his private investigations. Request permission to close the window. 7. And then the last one says, funneling guilders through the league operating smoothly. No questions asked. ATC easiest insert point. Castile Real's funding Montaigne resistance. Can't imagine the irony. Hard to keep my smile subtle when I speak to the Castile throne. 3BC. Time for IC to make a decision regarding the Countess. Her strength is growing quickly. She needs to either be controlled or approve closing the window. And that is all of them.
I think the phrase closing the window might be code for killing them.
I do not know. That was not the impression I received. Also, I suppose it is possible.
Or at least taking them out of the equation.
Catalina, do
It
you
could
make
be.
anything
I
of
have heard
this?
of such phrases before.
I do not know what to make of most of it. Perhaps we should bring it back to Roberto?
See, it does seem like there's a lot more involved than we were originally aware of.
I wonder if the... No. If Madame Muller was involved with the same organization that Reese is, I do not think she would want her daughter to be killed. No? Not if she sent her money however often she did.
Yes, I don't think she's the one behind this. Unless these notes were stolen by her daughter and she felt the need to get rid of her for knowing too much.
Perhaps we should go. Reese knows that, well, she knows that I am here now. Although perhaps there is no rush. She said I would keep. So,
Are they all written in the same hand?
we.
Well, I do agree with that course of action. We should return to Roberto. He probably has more information than we do, since he is the one who was sending us on this mission.
If you wish to know of Reese, I can tell you on the way, but as I said, I do not wish to hear.
Fair enough. What do we want to do with them?
Leave them? So townspeople can find justice for their children? Perhaps usher those children back in and ask them to throw chalk at them. I do not know.
Now that is an idea I can get behind.
That guy. And Catalina wipes her hands and grabs a cloth off one of the ruffians and cleans her hands and washes them at a basin. And she sheathes her rapier and her dagger. And I shall meet you back at the carriage.
If you are sure.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there is still somebody dangerous around. Alright, then Marguerite's gonna make sure Alana gets back to the carriage and doesn't run off or hide in anything else.
Nope, she is rubbing her knee and limping a little bit.
She explained to Marguerite what happened to her knee now that someone can understand her, or is she done with that?
She just sort of looks and she goes, no. No. Boys are disgusting.
I see. Is this related to, never mind. You are alright?
Yes,
That is good.
I just hurt my knee.
I am sorry. Ah, well, I do not understand. That is fine.
7th Sea, starring Emily as Marguerite, Shadow as Fenric, RavenInsane as Catalina, and introducing Louis as Wojak, Ghost as the teller of stories. Seventh Sea is released by Chaosium Games and written by John Wick. Some of the sound come from Sirenscape.com. You can find us at critfail.com.
And it's swashbuckling, so it's not like you can do a leap from onto the cobblestones, but you absolutely can do
no.
Assassin's Creed and
Well, no, I want to
Road
sneak down on one of those flags he said there were.
right. That's what I mean. You can do the swashbuckly things. I mean, you can't do the superhero third, floor leap just down to the, hard ground, but you can do the
Why not?
Assassin's Creed into the because it would.
Why can't you jump just 3 floors down? Because
can-
you'll die.
I can jump on the chandelier and
The
slice
candelier?
the chandelier, the candelier, the candelier, the chandelier,
You can do that.
and cut the rope.
Okay.
And then what?
Oh yeah, it might actually crash to the ground, wouldn't it?
Unless you say
if you're
it has
inside, if you're
Unless it has a pulley
inside
system.
and you're if you're inside where we are, swinging on a chandelier, and you cut the rope, you will fall exactly to the floor of the floor we are on, and no farther.
Oh, there's no thing in the middle.
as
Not
funny as
that
that
we've
would be.
stated.
Okay.
Unless you have enough raises where you said there's a circular thing, and then you would have to say there's like a couple of ropes, and you cut one so it tilts on that side, lowering you enough that you could drop off it safely
Although it would be
to the
kind of great if Catalina said, "All right, we're leaving," jumps on a chandelier, cuts it, and
just
falls
falls
back
straight
to where
through.
she,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
right where she was.
they're running up. She's going down.
Yeah, to the. Never mind.
Same floor. What was that about?
Oh.
Vandalism.
It's about making a point.
Exactly.
I hate candeliers, whatever those are.
Exactly.
There's bloody candeliers.
And
Okay, I guess I'm going with
candelabras?
yes, chandelabras. That sounds like Alana making up words because she doesn't know them.
Ooh.
Chandelabra. I guess I will use finesse, and it'll have to be athletics, I guess, even though I have nothing in that.
Even search engines knew I was trying to type chandelier.
They speak Adam.
When it comes to the scaring and harming of children, I've caught. Yeah. When it comes to the scaring and
That's
harming
my
of
job.
children,
Yes, only I can do that.
when it comes to the concerning, when it
When it comes to concerning children.
We surrender. This has gone on too long.
You say
When it
this does
comes
not
to the-
concern. Oh, go ahead. I thought you'd given up. I'm
You
sorry.
would have got it. You would have got it right that time.
Try again.
That would have been the one time you got it right.
Try again.